Hey, it's Nicole Dominique. I'm back again to discuss the exciting McGrath Lipstick Trio. This is my first contact with this brand, and these are just my first impressions. When I was younger, I would have loved to have tried a brand like this, but honestly, generally speaking, high-end brands like that were just out of my reach when I was younger. Now I'm a little older, got a little more disposable income, and these guys sell at $25 to try 3. So this is an 8-hour wear mark. I'm just a little over 8 hours, and I have the Omni tone on, and I think it has held up really, really well. It didn't dry my lips out. It is a matte. Sometimes you get matte lipsticks and they dry you out. This totally did not. I really like the fact that it's paraben free, and I love the creaminess of the formula. I think the formula is incredibly beautiful. It reminds me a lot of my favorite lipstick, which is actually from Kat Von D, and it's her Lolita, which is a warm chestnut kind of rose look. I feel this is just gorgeous. I think it's held up amazingly. I have not applied a single drop other than the 8 hours that I did before, so I've actually eaten lunch, I've taken drinks, I've sipped on a straw, reusable, and I'm very pleased with the results. I think it matches my complexion well. It's really pretty. I don't have any fine lipstick seeping into any of the tiny wrinkles that are around my lips. When I first put it on, it had like a sensual feel to it. It felt very creamy. It was easy to glide across my lips. Now, I did not follow the directions as stated on their website, so let me put it out there. I am not a makeup artist, I am a makeup lover, and because I'm a makeup lover, I'm sure that I make some mistakes in terms of my makeup application, and perhaps it's not as consistent day to day, which is why I wanted to show you the effect after 8 hours on my particular skin tone. Now, I have medium tone lips. They are naturally a good rose color on their own, but I feel that this color palette really reflects a beautiful natural look that I am completely comfortable going to the office or doing, something that's low key. It's probably a little more matte than I would probably do on a date. That's just me. But I love the lipsticks. I think they're so cute with their little stylized lips on them. I just think they're adorable. As I showed you earlier, of course, these are a limited edition, and they came in a neat little bag with a ton of sequins. Now, I'm not entirely sure that the sequins are the best idea. I mean, it's festive, but I have no use for them, and I feel like packaging-wise, because I'm just going to throw the sequins away, I probably would have been just happy with no sequins. Now, the one thing I will say that I absolutely love and think is awesome is this package, when it first came, of course it's open now, was hermetically sealed. And I feel like in terms of making your lipsticks last longer, because you're cutting down on the amount of oxidation from air exposure, that's a great idea. It's got to improve shelf life on some level to have them sealed in a bag rather than just have the plastic heat shrink wrap, which is normally on a lipstick. That shows you that it hasn't been tampered with. What it doesn't show you is any benefit other than it hasn't been tampered with. This gave me both not tampered with, and I imagine in terms of shelf life would extend it because they're sealed. It's like they've got their own little biosphere in there. They were really beautifully presented. There was a little, what's known in the toy collectible world as a coffin that held the lipsticks upright in the correct position inside the bag. Now, this particular set I got at Sephora. It was $25, which I was stoked about because, to be honest, a full-size set of her lipsticks goes for $100 on the Pat McGrath Labs website, which for me, I've got to be real, that's a little pricey. $100 for 3 lipsticks. I mean, everybody is different. Everybody has a different budget. For me, that seems like a lot. So when I could get 3 mini lips for $25, I was all excited. I was super, super into it. Now, this particular set is the batch, the mini Matte Trance. It's the version known as the Skinshow Trio. It's a first edition, it's a limited release, hence why I assume we've got the glitter, the sequins. And it contains Omni, which is what I'm currently wearing. It contains 1995 and Flesh number 3. I think that they are just a beautiful lipstick. So I'm going to actually take this off, kind of clean up around my mouth just a little bit, and I'm going to try the other two shades so that you're getting the same face other than the lipstick is changing, so that you can kind of see it. I'm going to swatch it. Now, of course, I am really heavily tattooed, so I'm incredibly limited to where I can swatch things for you guys. So this skin is going to be my swatch skin. This skin right here, because I really have a lot of area that I can use to swatch things. I'm going to continue to swatch on my arms anyway, but you're not going to get, because my arms are heavily tattooed along with the rest of me, you're not going to maybe get the best comparison as to how it might look on you, other than right here. Okay, so we are going to take off this little lipstick. So it came off one swipe. There wasn't a lot of excess pigment in terms of I didn't get a huge pink, and of course these are my bare lips. So the next one I'm going to try is going to be, so I'm going to do the 1995 next. I really do love packaging. I think the packaging is amazing. Super cute. On the website it said that you should actually put a little bit of foundation around on your lips so that the edges are even and filled in. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to use my L'Oreal True Match and a damp beauty sponge. And then I'm going to powder trying to get the most close to a fresh face of makeup that I can get without actually having a fresh face of makeup, so that you're getting the kind of same look rather than having me put on my face 3 times and having what would inevitably be 3 different results in terms of my eyeshadow. Now the eyeshadow that I'm wearing is one of my favorites. It's Kat Von D's Light and Shade. I've always loved that. Now this morning I used a lip pencil, which is the Wet n Wild Perfect Pout Gel Lip Liner. There we go. And I felt like it was a very, very good match. This is kind of a nude brown color. I like it. I do think that it is very similar in tone to the Omni. So I do think it looks good on me. In terms of application, it's creamy. It's very pigmented. Both of them have been. I don't know that the lip liner that I used, which is obviously an inexpensive drugstore makeup, really has the same tonal match as it did. I felt as though it matched the Omni a little better, but that's what I have on my makeup table, so that's what we're going to use for all 3, just so that you can kind of... I'm pleased that I tried it. I feel that the Omni is just a little bit better of a fit for my personal complexion than 1995. I do think 1995 is very close, but I think it has more brown undertone to it, whereas the Omni has a little bit more of a rose undertone to it. It's more like a chestnut rose, similar to the Lolita by Kat Von D, which has always been my favorite shade, but very, very, very wearable. I like it. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that off, and then I'm going to put the Flesh 3 Flesh 3 is the other name on. Easy to remove. You know, sometimes you put lipsticks on that actually have some decent stay power, and they're very difficult to get off. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just going to fix my mouth, my concealer just a little bit, powder, and put on the third. So I like this for more of an evening look. I think it's very pretty. Just a little bit more drama. Again, just like the other two, lovely formula, great pigmentation, a beautiful amount of matte pigment in my opinion. Very, very pretty. So yeah, I am very much liking these. So I am going to just very quickly swatch on my hand the 3 lippies. So you kind of, these are not going to be perfect artistic swatches. These are more like comparative swatches. These are like the type of swatches that you get from somebody who's not a makeup artist. With my barely non-tattooed flesh. Okay, so we have the Omni, we have the 1995, and we have the Flesh number 3. From front to back. Now looking at them in this light, it looks like to me that the Omni is actually darker in hue than the 1995, and the Flesh number 3 is the darkest tone of all. I would say, looking at them in my hand, that I would call the Omni kind of a rose with a hint of chestnut. I would definitely call the 1995 a nude brown color, and I would call the Flesh number 3 it's a much redder tone than either of the other two. I would say that it's, personally, I would call it oxblood. It's an oxblood color to me. So again, towards the fingertips, we have the Omni. In the middle, we have the 1995, and towards the thumb, we have our Flesh number 3. I really, really like this set. I'm glad I got them. I've always wanted to try some of these brands, and I'm happy. I'm happy with the wear. I'm happy with the pigmentation. I'm happy that I don't feel like the lipstick slid around my lips. I don't feel like it went into any of the little crevices. I felt like it was a creamy, heavily pigmented application. I am very pleased with the palette. I think they're all 3 extremely wearable shades. I am a fan of blue lipstick, but there's only so many places in the world. Okay, this is me trying to remove them with my makeup wipe, and you can see that I've got quite a lot of removal right there. And I'm just using a common Equate brand makeup wipe to take them off. This package is from Pat McGrath Labs. The batch is known as the Mini Matte Trance. The version is the Skinshow Trio. It is a first edition limited release containing Omni 1995 and Flesh number 3, which I currently am wearing. I love everything about these lipsticks, except perhaps for the price. Yeah, the price. The price on this was only $25 for 3 lips that were 1.3 grams. I am currently modeling Flesh number 3. Earlier, I wore Omni for 8 hours. It had fantastic wear. I felt like it didn't move an inch. I ate lunch, I drank things, I used a reusable straw, I didn't reapply once, and I thought I was completely acceptable at the end of the day. As a matter of fact, the slight wear that I had from eating was so little that I felt like it wasn't even necessary to touch up my lips. And I wasn't careful. I was not careful. I had fried catfish, in case you're wondering, and it was delicious. So I am super impressed with the creamy formula, because a lot of times matte lipsticks tend to dry me out, and naturally being nearly 50, I have lots of little crepey lines around my mouth, and I didn't get this lipstick to budge. It was perfect. I really think that even at the end of the day, it was completely acceptable in terms of being a very nice presentation, like if you were meeting somebody for drinks after work and you didn't have time to touch up your lipstick, I thought you would be good to go. I mean, I was very impressed. In terms of a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being I'm throwing it in the trash and 5 being I'm keeping it forever, this is definitely the keeping it forever version. Now, I did feel that all 3 colors were very similar. I swatched them on my hand, and my favorite is actually Omni. I think this is a lovely, more what I would consider to be more of an evening look, more daring, if you will, because I think it's a darker tone, but I think it's perfectly lovely, and I am super stoked. So one of the things that I think is interesting about this formula, besides the fact that it's paraben-free, is that it is extremely wearable and I think is compatible with a lot of different eye makeup looks. So I'm wearing a nude with Kat Von D's Light and Shade, a purely matte eye look today, and I feel like these look great with it. I feel like they would look awesome if I did something more drama related. So I'm pretty impressed with that. Now, I really think that the price point is great because a full-size Pat McGrath lipstick runs $40, and you can get on her website 3 of them for $100, which I think is, for me personally, my budget, that's a bit high. I would probably not spend $100 to get 3 lipsticks personally, even though it is a savings because they normally go for 40 a piece, so obviously you're saving $20 by getting the trio. Today, maybe next month would be different, but today I wouldn't spend $100 for 3 of them. So getting 3 that I could try out for $25, bam, that was a no-brainer to me. And I'm really glad that I tried them. As I mentioned, this is my first contact with this makeup brand. Pat McGrath as an artist, of course, I was familiar with, but not necessarily her makeup because the price point was just a little too high for me in the past. So I'm at the point where I can splurge a little more often. This is not a sponsored video, obviously. I bought this stuff with my own money and wanted to try it out and let people know what I felt was good about it. So I definitely think it was creamy, it was easy to apply, it was long lasting, it did not dry out my lips, it didn't budge, the pigmentation and the opacity is extremely high, which I love. One of the things that I notice in more drugstore types of brands is that the opacity of the lipstick is low. So for example, if you try a Wet n Wild lipstick, it may look a color that you like, but the chances of it actually having the pigment when you put it on your lips, to me, very minimal chance of that. So this was great. It's very similar in formula, in my opinion, to high-end across the brand divide. So like it's very obvious to me that it's a high-end lipstick. It's a great lipstick. It's a lipstick that I'm going to enjoy for as long as it lasts. I do love the packaging. These cute little lips, they're adorable. I think they're just cute. The only thing that I kind of wish, which is maybe weird, is I think this would make just the cutest little ring. I would love it if that part of the lipstick just came off and I could wear it as a ring. Is that weird? It might be weird. I don't know. The other thing about the packaging, as I mentioned, the sequins, they're super festive. Obviously, this is a first edition and it's a limited release. But the sequins to me are overkill. I don't need sequins because I feel like it's wasteful to have them. The lipsticks were very easy to take on, very easy to take off. I think that overall, it was a fantastic buy and I completely recommend them. Gonna keep them. For me, on my skin type, in my lifestyle, I would give these a 5-star. I really, really like them. I think they're fabulous. So they are 1.2 grams of lippy per lippy. Obviously you get 3 of them. I think personally the Omni, they describe it as a mid-tone rose. To me, I would call it a chestnut rose. They call the 1995 as a warm light nude. I would agree with that. And they call the flesh as a brown rose. I use the word oxblood, but oxblood is essentially a brown red, so that's more or less on point. I am very, very excited to try these looks with different eye makeup because obviously I'm wearing a nude and I'm very interested to see how it's going to look when I put something more dramatic on. I look forward to them. I think if I were to purchase a $40 lipstick, I would, out of these three, I would definitely buy the Omni. I feel like the Omni is the best transition shade for my particular complexion in terms of the tone of my skin, the fact that I'm naturally going gray. I definitely think that the Omni is the best day to night. I personally feel like I probably wouldn't wear something this dark in the day unless I was doing some sort of crazy photo shoot thing maybe, but I probably wouldn't go this dark. I felt like the nude was pretty. It looked decent. I have a hard time with nudes because a lot of times nude lipsticks are not darker than my natural lip tone, and therefore I have to wear a lot of foundation to actually cancel out the natural tone of my lips to wear that look. So it was nice that it actually was a good opacity and my natural lip tone did not show through on any of the colors, but particularly the nude. I really, really think that this is a look that would look good on a lot of different skin tones out there. And that's important, you know, it's so hard when you're buying makeup that you can't test and you can't try before you buy it, that you invest in things that are going to look good regardless of skin tone. So I feel like these particular tones, they're going to look good on dark complexions, they're going to look good on light complexions, and they're going to look good on a wide swath of people. So I think that they are definitely a plus. So one of the things I wanted to try regarding this lipstick specifically is transfer, so transfer onto glasses and things. I found very little transfer, but I have a glass that I am going to drink from right here live on camera. It's going to happen. Hopefully you can see that. Virtually none. Yes, you can see a lip print, but it's so minimal as to not be a big deal. I had heard that some people were very unhappy with the transfer amount. I didn't find that personally. I found like these had amazing staying power. They weren't super transferable. I was very, very happy. So I just mushed that super hard into my lips, and this is how much I got. I did not even apply it the way they recommend, which is to do the tissue paper with the powder over it. So that's just straight. I consider that completely acceptable in my world. I was really, really happy with these. I'm glad that I bought them because, of course, when you put all three of the lipsticks together, it is the same weight as a standard lipstick from Pat McGrath, which retails for $40, which is that's steep. I've got to tell you, that's steep. So getting three for $25 that allowed me to try three different shades was lovely. I'm definitely going to buy a full-size Omni. I love it. It's probably one of my favorite lipsticks I've ever used. It didn't dry my lips out. I didn't think there was much transfer. It stayed in place. It was transitional from day to evening. I thought it was a steal, and I love it. So that is my opinion. The product claims are going to come directly from the Pat McGrath Lust website. Okay, so they claim it's an innovative formula that combines a strong matte finish with highly saturated pigmentation. I would say that that is true. The vivid and vibrant collection of colors leaves lips feeling luscious and smooth with a supple, cushiony feel. I thought that it was pleasant to put on. I wouldn't necessarily say I had a cushiony feel. They say that it is formulated with optical diffusers that blur the appearance of imperfections. Now, I think my lips are not full of imperfections, so I'm not sure that I'm perfect to rate that. I can say that I don't feel like the lipstick bled at all. I don't feel like it moved a micron. I think that that part of it was great, so it didn't like leaving the little fine lines around my nearly 15-year-old mouth. I thought it was good. She claims it's an advanced formulation of spherical particles that ensures a creamy, smooth texture for the smoothest film of color. Well, I have no idea what size the particles are, but it was pleasant to put on. I thought the color was great. And it says it combines powder film for saturated pigment for lightweight opaque coverage. It definitely has opaque coverage. Now, I am used to putting on more than one coat of almost any lipstick that I use, so you could absolutely go out the door with a single coat of this lipstick, assuming that, unlike me, you're able to get every part of your lips covered in a single swath. I am perhaps not that good at that, so I'm all here like fixing my lips and stuff, but in terms of opacity, you definitely have an opaque look in one swipe. You know, you are good to go. Now let's look at their application, which I did not apply the way they recommend on their website. Experience a new dimension of lip color with these simple techniques to enhance your lust-worthy pout. 1. Begin by smoothing lips with an exfoliant, then gently neutralize natural lip color with a touch of concealer. Well, I certainly didn't exfoliate my lips, and I didn't use concealer, I did use foundation, but same diff as far as I'm concerned. And then it says, to define the lip and enhance staying powder, choose a coordinating Permagel Ultra Lip Pencil. I did use a lip pencil, but I used a cheapy lip pencil. I used a Wet n Wild lip pencil, which is a gel lip pencil, and I thought the color actually coordinated very well with the first lipstick, which Wet n Wild Perfect Pout Gel Lip Liner in 661D laid down the mobs. To me, was a very good match for the Omni. Not so much for the other two. Building color opacity in layers. Number 1, use the finger to press and roll color onto the lips. Start in the middle of the bottom lip and transfer color onto the lips with the index finger working outward to either edge. Repeat on the top lip. So that's this kind of thing. I did not do that. You can see how much transfer I got from just mushing my lips. For longer lasting wear, after applying lipstick, gently pull a tissue apart so you end up with 2 thin sheets. Press one of the sheets against your lip and lightly dust with translucent setting powder. I didn't do it. It set fine. I didn't have any issues whatsoever. I thought it was really nice. I think that overall, I'm pretty impressed. Because this was my first contact with Pat McGrath Labs in terms of actually using a cosmetic, I thought that it was a positive enough experience that I would definitely try more. And chances are good that I am going to think very hard about buying a full-size Omni. I'm going to get through this one, and if I'm not bored with it by the time I'm done with the little lippy, I might spring for the $40 full size because I really did like it a lot. And I think it's an extremely transitionable shade from day to evening, which is important if you're going to spend that amount of money on lipstick. In my opinion, you need to be able to use it in more than one situation. So I think it was awesome. Yeah, girl. Okay, if you are new here, I would love it if you liked, shared, subscribe, and leave me a comment if there is a lipstick that you think is of comparable quality, longevity, opacity, and comfort as the Pat McGrath Omni, because I would love to try it. So if you would leave me a comment about that, that would be fabulous. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a rockin' day.